What is up, guys? Guy Swann here.
And I'm GaryLeland. And of course, you're listening to episode 111 of the Cryptocousins Podcast.
Feed your interest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies by joining Hall of Fame podcaster GaryLeland on the Crypto Cousins Podcast. And remember, we are all cousins in the world of crypto. This week's price of Bitcoin.
$10,167. That's up $83 or 0.9% over the past 7 days.
Howdy, 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 Guy. Welcome to the show. Got to give you a Texas howdy there.
Texas howdy.
If you were from Texas, you would have got 4 howdies.
Oh, wow. That's a special amount of howdies right there.
Well, I felt like you could appreciate the howdy after being here for BitBLOCKBOOM in the hotter than hell Bitcoin conference.
Oh, yeah. Us North Carolinians, we're down in the South, too. We have a howdy here and there.
Well, that's true. I'm from South Carolina originally. Matter of fact, I'm going there. I'll be there when this episode comes out. So
no kidding.
If you're listening to this episode, I'm not far. I'm closer to the Guy as the time of this is you're listening to this than I normally am. I'm going to Myrtle Beach to see some of my family. We're all meeting in Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach is great. It's a great place to be irresponsible.
I haven't been there since I was 16. We drove up there and went surfing one time when I was 16, and now I'm 64. So I bet it's changed since I was there, huh?
Maybe a little different.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. So give everybody a real quick bio who you are. I know who you are, but for those who aren't listening, and this is a chance to plug your podcast, which I really like, by the way.
Oh, okay, cool. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I've been in the Bitcoin space for, I don't know, 7-8 years-ish. I got to really finalize that number and figure out what it is because I keep saying 7 or 8 years and I'm not 100% sure where that time frame is. But I have just been completely drowned in it. It's just been, it was a combination of so many fascinations and loves of mine from other disciplines. Like I was an economics nerd. I was just a general techie. Loved the ideas of how the internet was changing things, like what incredible impact it was having on how we organized ourselves as a society and how it was breaking through barriers everywhere. And then after stumbling upon Austrian economics, it was just like Bitcoin just fits so beautifully into all of the things that I was fascinated by at the time. And since then, I haven't been able to step away from Bitcoin. It's just all consuming. So about a year and a half ago, I started a podcast, and I'm upwards of 340-ish episodes now. But the main format is I read Bitcoin articles. I try to make all of the best stuff written down in Bitcoin. The articles like Szabo's Shelling Out, the Iterative Capital Thesis. There's so many, just a mountain of gold written down. And I try to make it so that everybody can listen to it and then, commentate and do all that stuff and share my own ideas. And I don't know, it's just been a crazy, crazy wild ride. And I was up till midnight last night, like on the microphone, just all day yesterday. It's been an awesome thing.
Yeah, I understand that for sure, because I'm at episode 379 of the 4-Minute Crypto. And I gave Guy a hard time at BitBLOCKBOOM because his slogan is, I read more Bitcoin news than anyone you know. So I had to go up to him and said, I'm going to challenge you, which you probably do read more than me, but I thought it was a fun challenge to say that there's someone who can compete with you, because I do one every weekday myself. And except mine's shorter than yours. Yours are great, though. I love the one you did on just yesterday. I listened to you with Bitstein on Everyone's a Scammer. Now, I saw Michael give that at BitBLOCKBOOM last year, but it was, some of it had disappeared and it was a live event and stuff. And I'm just driving. I had a half an hour drive yesterday. When I'm just listening to it, I was like, I don't even remember most of this. And it was such a good one. And there was another one you gave recently. Oh, I can't think which one it was. I sent you a message on it. I liked it so much. Hal Finney's last blog quote.
Oh, yeah, Hal Finney's.
Which I had never read. I had never read that. So that was a great.
You hadn't?
No, and I told my wife about it that night on the walk. And she started crying when I told her about it. And I teared up a little when you read it.
Yeah, dude, I had to re-record the end a little bit because always like right there at the end, like I get choked up. And I was like, oh, man, I gotta go back, edit it out, and record it again.
Yeah, so that was like the first one I listened to that when I got through, all our years I listened to that, I said, oh my gosh, this one really kind of moved me, because you hear a lot of stuff, but you don't get moved a lot about Bitcoin podcasts. They don't move you that much. So I highly recommend anyone subscribe to this show. If you're into Bitcoin, you're going to enjoy it. He does a great job, and he has a nice, smooth voice, unlike me. Mine, I had someone tell me the other day, they said, I listen to all my podcasts on 1.5 speed, but I have a hard time with yours. You talk so fast, I can't do it at 1.5 times. So, how did you discover Bitcoin actually, though?
I was kind of in a weird place in my life. I was trying to figure out what the hell I wanted to do. I really did want to be like an entrepreneur or something, and I was doing media at the time. Like I was doing a film, like wedding videos and commercials and that sort of thing. And mostly I was just kind of doing it to get by. And my brother and I would debate. He was majoring in economics at the time, and he could not get across that or get around the fact that like a lot of things that they were teaching him didn't seem to make sense. Like one thing that they would learn in macroeconomics, and then like 2 weeks later they'd learn something else, like kind of in the micro setting, and he'd be like, wait a second, these two things can't exist at the same time. Like if one of these is true, the other one necessarily cannot be. And then he would debate with his professor, and he was like, that's what the book says. And he'd be like, but something has to be wrong. And we would come home, he would come home, and we would debate about it. And that's when we went down the kind of Austrian economics rabbit hole, because we just started exploring these ideas on the internet and seeing what we could come up with. And then just kind of out of left field, when it was actually my brother who got exposed to it. He was debating with somebody on Facebook, and somebody was like, dude, you'd probably be really interested in this Bitcoin thing. And he immediately calls me up, and he was like, oh my God, you got to hear about this. And that very night, he came back to the house, and we dove right into it. We were looking at everything we could find on the Bitcoin Talk forums. We read through the whole white paper that night, just mind blown from start to finish. And I remember it was the sun was up. It was like 9 o'clock the next morning. We had stayed up all night, just completely sucked into Bitcoin. And it's like, all right, we should probably go to sleep.
That's what happens.
Yeah, really. That was pretty much my foray, and I just haven't left. I'm really right there still.
Okay, sounds good enough. And also before we go any further, I do want to make sure, I don't know if I know I sent you a message, but I don't know if I ever actually told you in person. I want to thank you for being our attendee bag sponsor this year.
Oh, yeah.
At BitBLOCKBOOM. I don't know if I told you that in person. I meant to. I realized that the other day. But
oh no, absolutely. I appreciate it. You told me a couple times, and like I was really, really happy to do it. That was fun, and it was great to see my logo on the back.
yeah. Well, it's a good looking logo. I really like your new logo. But let's get on to the topic of the show, because a lot of people are probably listening, going, "Okay, enough chit chat. We're here to listen to about setting up Casa Nodes." So what we've done is I have my Casa Node, and this is going to be, I was telling Guy when the show started, we're assuming at this point you have your node up and running. You've got it running, you can go to it, whatever issues, if you had any, you've taken care of, and now you're going, okay, my node's up, what's next? Now, if you go to your page on your node, if you log in, two things I want to let you know right now, or one thing in particular. At the bottom, a lot of the times, there'll be an update message. And if you hit that update message, you're not going to be doing anything on your node for a few minutes. While it updates. So I didn't update mine this morning because I wanted to make sure it wasn't gone. Number two, if you unplug your node without turning it off, you're going to be waiting a while to use it again too. So that's a big tip there. But let's go. You got 3 windows here. You have one that says Bitcoin, Lightning, and the third says System. Let's walk through these and go through these one another. Now mine is synced, active, and 258 gigabytes used. And I have the first thing I can really see that I can do on this page would be under this Bitcoin is manage. Is there anything there I need to take care of, need to know? On mine, I have incoming connections allowed, and that's all I have. Is there something else here I need to know, or is there anything like it says danger zone in red, but I don't see anything happening?
No, the danger zone is I didn't have to, as far as the allow incoming connections, if you've got your router set up to forward the ports, then you can allow incoming connections, and that will essentially help. You'll be an active like sender and receiver on the network, like as a node. But the whole danger zone thing is just the fact that you're trusting the blockchain that Casa sent you already on the hard drive. And resyncing with a Raspberry Pi takes, I think, spoke with somebody who took like a week or 2 weeks or something.
It's like unplugging it. It's the same thing. I mean, it takes a long time to redo because it resyncs, right?
No, I mean like resyncing the entire blockchain from the beginning, like the whole 258 gigabytes, which on a desktop is not terribly hard because your processor can do all the verification and computation pretty quickly. I mean, I think it takes like a day or something. It took me like a day to boot from my Linux machine. But on this one, all of that is just saying that you're trusting somebody else's blockchain. You're trusting Casa's blockchain, which I don't see how Casa is going to screw me, and it has all the same information as my other nodes. So I don't see the great need there, but they're just being overly.
So you should have, though, allow incoming connections checked, right?
Not necessarily, but I do. I would.
Well, I do. I just didn't know why I did. I just thought,
yeah.
I figured, what the heck? It's
just so that other nodes can request information from you. So if somebody else is looking something up on a on their wallet or something, and they're just connecting to a random node, it could be you on the network.
Okay. So now it says I have 8 outbound and 7 inbound connected peers. What does that mean?
That means that as far as who you're talking to on the network, I mean, we've got like thousands and thousands of nodes out there. 8 outbound just means that you have 8 that you are connecting to that you'll be like broadcasting information to, like a transaction and stuff like that. And then inbound, I think, is people requesting from you. So it's just the peers on the network that you're connected to talk.
Okay, I thought I had like 4, so I'm confused
like
on that.
4?
How about this transaction? So this is something I had a question on.
I don't see, because this is on the Bitcoin node, and I've got pretty much the same thing. I've got 8 outbound and 11 inbound. Excuse me.
Oh, you have 8 outbound too?
Yeah. 8 is the default.
Okay, I got you. That's why I was wondering. I was going, wow, what a coincidence. Okay. See, that's why I have someone on here who knows. I didn't even know there was a default. I don't claim to be very technical. I can wing my way around usually, but I need help from friends very often. Okay, so is there something weird about the 8 and 7 there?
No.
Okay.
No, it'll fluctuate typically.
Okay, now I go to transactions. It shows my Bitcoin balance in sats.
Mm-hmm.
And then it shows I've received the sats I deposited. And it shows someone else sent me 1,000 sats. I don't know what that's from.
Ooh, what's that?
100,000 sats. 1,000,000 sats. I don't know, $103. Someone sent me $103.
$103? Okay,
Yeah.
that would be 1,000,000 sats. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that's from.
Somebody sent you a heck of a tip or something.
I guess I'm just looking at it. This is the first time I've seen it. So okay, so that's I guess that's probably pretty normal for some people, huh? I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, there's nothing here. This is just a record of what I've deposited and withdrawn.
Yeah, this is literally just the transactions window is just it's got your withdrawal and deposit. This is like your absolute basic, just your Bitcoin wallet. So like if you wanted to put up a address somewhere for someone to send you donations, you just click on the deposit button and then copy the address.
So I could use this address instead of going straight to my wallet and use my node as my wallet. This is how you would do that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I didn't even know how to do that, honestly. I haven't messed with this enough to know what's going on. Okay. So basically, the first tab, the managing transactions, is really just information.
It's just information. Transactions is essentially your wallet. Like that's where you get access to your Bitcoin wallet. This is really kind of just the back end for the apps that Casa is building. So like this is just so that you can go in and kind of look at the history and manage it, whereas the Casa extension in the browser would be where you would want to do most of your transactions just out of simplicity's sake. And then same with the Sats app is, you can connect directly to your node and do transactions just, out in the wild as long as you've got an internet connection.
Okay, now I go to my Lightning, which is the middle tab, and I hit manage there. Now here it says I have 4 channels. Now, what is the difference between my channels and my outbound? I thought those were the same thing. That's what I was confusing when I said I had 4, I thought. What are outbound and inbound, which is now 8 and 6 instead of 8 and 7? What is the difference between outbound and inbound and channels?
The outbound and inbound is just the connections to the Bitcoin network. So these are just random nodes on the Bitcoin network that are just fully verifying. It could be my LND node on my Linux machine. It could be the Blockstream node, anything. However, the 4 channels that you have on Lightning are specifically the multi-sig Lightning channels that you actually have Bitcoins in, like reserve, connected to another node specifically on Lightning. You just can't open a channel with like a random Bitcoin node. You have to do it to somebody on Lightning.
So to go back to Bitcoin on the outbound and inbound is the default for the outbound. Is there anything, I mean, do some people have inbound of 30, 40, 50 according to how they are? Because that varies. As I can see, it went from 7 to 6 just now. Is the more active your node is, or the more channels you have, or the more connected it is that number higher? And is that advantageous? Is that something that you have, like, you can work on, or that grows over time, let me say? Or is that something that just is always going to be 8 outbound and 6 or 7 or 8 or 11 or whatever?
To be honest, I can't tell you specifics on exactly why. I know part of it has to do with whether or not you have forwarded your ports as far as like your inbound connections. But I think you actually have to go into the command line to increase your default number of connections. Don't quote me on that because I've not changed it on any of my nodes. I've just always left it as the default, but I did forward my ports on my router to essentially be a little bit more available on the network.
Okay.
For other people to request info.
Okay. Well, let's go back then to the Lightning. I'm under the Manage tab. And here, first thing I see is that I have 4 channels. It tells me how much sats are in the channels. 0 sats pending, and average value per channel. Then under that, and that's just information from those 4 channels. This is just information again. But under that, I have a setting, autopilot channel settings. I have mine inactive. What's the scoop on this? When I click to manage it, I can turn it on or off. I have mine off. Should it be off? Should it be on?
It kind of depends on how you want to use it. Autopilot is still working with extremely limited data currently. But there is a lot of stuff in the background happening to try to make Autopilot more efficient. But essentially what Autopilot is doing is trying to set you up with channels automatically without you having to figure out who to connect to, but set you up with channels that are reliable, like out into the network, so that, you know, you can spend it, Fold or Bitrefill or whatever it is that you want to spend some sats at. My experience is that Autopilot is still pretty limited. I had a number of channels that got opened and then the other node went offline. And again, Lightning is still so early and almost so many of the nodes are really just new. Like there's just not much data to pull from, that Autopilot is still very elementary, I guess you could say, or rudimentary. It's just a little too basic. So I find that opening like the custom Lightning channels underneath it, opening 4 or 5 well-placed channels and not overdoing how many channels you've got, I find has a much better experience just all around. I'm more likely to find a route. I'm less likely, obviously, to have nodes go offline if I'm connected to Bitrefill and, you know, blockstream.info and yours.org or whatever.
Okay.
Or y'alls.org. That was the one.
Okay. So I'm just going to leave that off of mine. How about custom Lightning channels? It says I have 4 open. I go to manage and I can see all inbound or outbound. And then new channel is a button I can choose.
Yes. Now this is where you're going to connect to, this is where you're going to set up your custom channels where like let's say you have like a service or something that you're certainly going to want to spend money at just to play around with, or it's something that, like, I use Bitrefill pretty regularly and I've just started using Fold a little bit more often. I just kind of got into it a couple of weeks ago and I'm thinking it's probably going to be something that I end up using pretty often. So I'll open up a channel with them. But all my inbound is just every channel that has a liquidity on the other side. Like, so like in these channels, let's say we've got a channel with you and I, and I've opened it and I've got 100,000 sats on my side, and I'm the full owner, and you didn't put up any sats from your side. Well, then that's going to look like just an outbound channel, because I've got 100,000 sats that I can send to you, but there's no balance that you can send back to me. Now, if you put 100,000 up on your side as well, well, now that we both have that capacity to go either direction. So inbound are all the channels that have capacity that I can receive money through, and outbound is all the ones that have capacity that I can send money out to you or whoever else.
Okay. So I have 3 inbound, it looks like, and 1 outbound. I guess my outbound and one of my outbound, one of my inbound is Marty's and them's node and Matt's node up there.
Okay, yeah.
And so then I have 2 that are just incoming channels, 500,000 sats. But I only have Marty's stacking sats to node going out. So should I open up a channel? Just like, I guess what I'm trying to ask right now, is this where I go to say, hey, someone's opened a channel with me. I need to open one back. Or do you need to open one back? Is it just common courtesy? Or what's the scoop here?
You know, that's a lot of times, like, you'll just get random people opening channels to you. And I would say that if it looks like somebody who's well connected, like if you want to like actually go look, I think.
Well, mine just says incoming channel. It doesn't have any information. So how would I know what do I do to?
If you click on it, like just click on where it says incoming channel, and you'll have peer name says incoming channel. I don't think you can edit that yet. And then channel purpose, someone has opened, another node has opened up a channel to you. And then it's got the balances, the balance on your side and the balance on their side.
Yeah, mine just says 0, 500,000.
Yes, that means that you've got 500,000 in the channel, which, you know, $50. And they have nothing in the channel right now. You own all the money in that channel.
Oh, so actually, so they might have heard me last week or week before with Jimmy Song saying, if you open a node to me, I'll open one back. And now they may be sitting there going, well, hell with this guy. He's not opening his node back or his channel back.
Maybe. Wait, is this, sorry, is this an outbound or an inbound?
I'm on the inbound page.
Oh, sorry. I misspoke then. It was 500,000 sats that they owned. They opened $50 so that they can send it to you or route through you.
Right.
But the node ID, if you want to look at where they are in the network, if they're not behind the tour, what is Casa's? It's like casa.explore.
Yeah, I don't know.
Casa, explore.casa.
Don't be asking me. I mean, come on, dude.
But yeah, if you copy paste that node ID.
Where do I see the node ID at? All I see is incoming channel. I click on that. I see no ID. I see a incoming channel, and a channel has opened another node to you. That's all I see. Where am I finding this?
Okay, so if you click on it, does it not come up in a new window that says Manage Custom Channel?
Yes.
And it has peer name?
Yes,
channel
it says
purpose,
incoming channel. And
2 balances?
Yes.
And then underneath remote node ID?
No, I don't see
the
that.
remote peer?
I don't see
Withdrawal time lock.
I don't see any of that.
Okay. You're under custom channels? Under manage?
I'm under manage custom channels. I'm in the inbound section.
In the inbound section?
Yeah, it's all inbound and outbound. And I'm in the inbound. So that's probably one of the things I've been having a problem with because I can't see what's going on.
You can't see the node IDs.
Yeah, I just see that someone's opened a node. I have no idea who it is. So if you're listening and you sent me the 500,000 sats, I haven't ignored you. So that doesn't make any sense then.
Weird. Yeah, all of mine, I was wondering if maybe there was some way to like take it private, but that wouldn't make any sense because without their ID, without their public key, you wouldn't even be able to update the channel. You have to know their ID. That's weird that yours isn't showing. Have you updated?
I updated last week, but the newest one was between Monday and today, and I haven't done it. But I don't think that was just in the update. I mean, just in this update that happened this week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
out of curiosity, you're looking at this on desktop, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I like
so you got like a full screen. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Particularly with this view, it just looks cleaner to me. It's not as crowded.
Oh, wait a second. Okay. It's weird. There's this is really kind of weird on my computer here. Okay, I got it. There wasn't a scroll bar on the right to scroll down, but it's all there. So that was kind of weird. I didn't see a scroll bar, so I didn't know there's anything further down here. Okay, my bad.
Okay. Okay. Yours is just too big. My resolution is like really tight. So everything's tiny on my screen.
Okay. So now I'm seeing, oh gosh, there's a ton of more information here. There's a key, there's a withdrawal time lock, a refund delay for uncooperative close. What does that mean?
Oh, yeah, the refund delay. Like, so, do you know how the Lightning contract works?
I do.
Okay, there's a time lock which is kind of like your insurance policy. And I think this withdrawal time lock is the default span, 24 hours. Because I think all my channels are 24 hours too.
So you need to check this every day.
Ish. Yes.
Of course, people could be opening nodes to you, and if you checked it once a week, you wouldn't even know anyone opened a node because it closed and refunded.
Well, no. If they open a channel, as long as your node is online, it will just stay open.
Okay.
And you don't really have anything to worry about, particularly if they own all the coins in the channel. But this is specifically comes into play if somebody tries to, like, we're constantly updating the channel, right? Like, for instance, that channel that someone opened with you, that person has $50 in the channel, 500,000 sats. And if they send $25 to you, they'd send you roughly 250,000 sats, and then you'd have that in your part of the balance. Now, if they tried to close, they could, go into their, I don't even know if you'd be able to get it from the command line, but figure out how to get their previous version of the transaction where they owned 50,000 and you owned 0, and then they could broadcast that one to the network. But that time lock down there, that 24 hours, they have to wait 24 hours to see if you contest that. And obviously you have a more updated one where they sent you $25 in a transaction. So you would broadcast, your node would automatically do this. You don't have to worry about it. But your node needs to be online. So it's good to refresh and make sure that it's, every day that your node is healthy and, still up and running. But you would publish the newest version, and you'd have that 24-hour window to prove to Bitcoin as the court, in this instance, that you are the one with the latest transaction. And it would basically knock out theirs because theirs is outdated, and yours would be the one that got confirmed.
Okay.
And you would get your $25 back. Yeah.
So now I noticed when I'm looking on this all tab, are on the inbound too, that two of my nodes are online and one incoming node is offline.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? Their nodes just turned off? I mean, maybe their electricity went out or something.
Probably. Yeah. Or something that happens particularly with this stage of the network is you get people who are interested in playing around with it, and they open up a channel with somebody or some service, or like just randomly on the network. Maybe it's just AutoPilot doing it, but then they're not really interested. They don't really take the next step. I mean, it's a pretty lengthy process to get all this set up and get it to where you feel like you're actually using it and making a regular habit of it. And they just kind of let it fall to the wayside, or they kind of forget about it, or never play around with that app. And then their node gets cut off and they just don't realize it, or it gets out of sync and they just don't refresh it.
Right. They just haven't looked at it in a while, so they just need to start.
Exactly.
Now, okay, so now I can go to, I know there's that site I can go to, and I can't think of the name either. Maybe you said it a second ago, and I can see it shows me like little orbs, like connection maps. But there's also a place I can go, and I guess I can enter this incoming channel number that we found down here and find out whose node that is, so I could name it.
Yeah, you can look at the node. One that I really like is just Casa's, because they're going to have the closest, I guess you could say, the table or the index of what the Lightning Network looks like.
Right.
That's closest to the one that my node is going to see.
Right.
So it's explore, explore.casa. And you'll just copy and paste that node ID.
Explore.casa? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, explore.casa.
Okay,
my Siri just fussed at me about something.
I heard that. So I've got... Okay, so I'm going to go to the node, and I go down here, and I copy this. I guess I just highlight and copy this address down here that's in the Manage Custom channel. I go to the thing, and where would I... what do I do here?
Just paste it up. paste it up in the search bar up in the top right.
Okay. Gotcha.
And
I can
then
see who
it's
it
going to
is, and
take you
it's
to a node. It'll have a name.
myhash.io.
Okay. Now you can click on that main title. Like I'm looking at one right now that says BB2K19. No idea. But if you click on it, that will take you to the map, the star map. And it will show you that node and all of the other channels that it is publicly broadcasting that it has open.
I see. And there I am on there. And
I was about to say, I can see myself, my little cryptoconomy.life up there, which I actually need to update.
And I'm the smallest one on there. I'm not liking that at all. Okay. So now that we've done this, okay, I found this node and all it said was incoming channel. Now I've named it. I know from doing that information, it's myhash.io. I know who it is, and I actually know who that person is that did that now, which I didn't know before. So now I'm going, oh yeah, I know myhash.io. I want to return the favor, and I want to, I don't know if it's a favor, but I want to return it and open up one for the same amount back to myhash.io, which is 500,000 sats. How do I return that?
All right, you've got that public ID. I'm still in your copy paste. Well, you just go back to manage custom channels, that main page.
I'm on there.
And you just open it up and go to peer name, and you can go ahead and just put in myhash.io. Channel purpose.
I don't know what you're saying now. Okay, I'm at manage. Oh, new channel. Click new channel is what you're saying.
Yes, sorry, the new channel button. Yeah.
Okay.
Click on that, and then you have some details to put in. The peer name would be, like if you know it's myhash.io or you want to have your own nickname, you can put whatever you want in there. Channel purposes, just for funsies. And connection details would be that ID plus.
Okay, there's my connection details and my hash.
Oh, they're behind. The one I'm looking at is behind an onion. That's why.
Okay. And so what is the onion?
That means it's over the Tor network. It's not public.
And he gave me 500,000 sats, so I'm going to do the same for him.
Yeah, the connection details you can add, like just by default. Like if you put the peer like ID that you got from the other one that you copy pasted, and then put :9735. That's the default port number for the Lightning Network. It's possible that they're using a different one. It's highly unlikely, and usually 9735 will still work. But if you go back to that Lightning Explorer, just at the top of your node information, it actually has the full connection code. So you can actually just copy it from there. And that's where...
Okay, where do I copy that from? You lost me on that. Oh, I see it. I got it. Okay.
Right there at the top in gray. That's right. And that's what you put in that connection details.
Okay, which mine was when I just put his address, it was red. Now that I copied and pasted that, it's correct. So that makes a difference. And then now if they're doing this, okay, I've done what you said. I put his name, so I'll know. I'll put channel purposes. I just left that default. Connection details, bam, copy that, put in the same amount. Now I have some channel opening speeds. The fastest cost me 33 cents. The cheapest is 2 cents. It defaults to 29 cents. And which is actually the fastest is 10 minutes. Default is 60 minutes. Slow is 4 hours. The cheapest is 24 hours. So what's the scoop here?
The mempool, this is really just, in fact, I actually have not seen this before. This must have come with a recent update. But this is actually really cool because I heard people talking about this in the Casa forum, and I wasn't sure if this was how far away this was. But this is just this is like the channel is a Bitcoin transaction, right?
Right.
So when you're opening it, this is just your fee that you're paying to the Bitcoin network to get this channel confirmed. And if you're not trying to use this anytime soon, like you're just opening this with myhash.io to give balance in the reverse direction, right? To just balance out the funds. Well, then you're in no hurry. You could probably just say slow if you wanted to save 10 cent or 20 cent, whatever it is on the fee.
Yeah, it's been there probably a month. Obviously, he's not getting upset. Okay, so that's it. And I just opened the channel. I had no idea how to open the channel. And that was really pretty easy.
Yeah. After you kind of know what you're looking at, it's a pretty simple process. You just got to know what this huge remote node ID and the port number and all this stuff. Like it's a whole lot of copy paste typically. That's really the process. Knowing what to copy and paste.
Now, I don't know where I'm having problem at. I think I've got everything done. I hit open channel and I get must include only alphanumeric spaces, but it doesn't tell me where. Oh, I bet you. Okay.
Oh, it's probably in the peer name.
Yeah, I just got rid of the, and I just got logged out.
Yeah, I think if you put like a space in the peer name, which...
Well, I had a dot. I had my hash.io. Think that would do it?
Okay, maybe that's what it is. That's probably the period.
Okay, so we know what that was. Okay, so we got that part done. Locked out for some reason, or knocked out. I got to relog in, but I'm not going to go through that again because I think that was, hopefully people can follow what we did. Okay, so now they got an idea how to do that. I'm going to go back to manage though because I want to see, I want to go to, in the same tab, the manage lightning, let's move down to minimum incoming channel size.
Okay.
I have 500,000.
You have 500,000?
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably pretty good. Really with the Lightning Network right now, until the security and like watchtowers, which is like having it so that other people can help track if somebody tries to cheat you on in a channel balance. Really, it's probably going to take, a couple more months and some new updates and a bunch of stuff before you want to really increase that channel size. $50 or 500,000 sats is probably a pretty safe number to stick with, $50 to $100 or something in a channel.
Okay.
But what that basically means is that if somebody opens a channel with you, you won't accept anything less than 500,000 sats in liquidity. Like, because this is going to be, since it's going to be their money in the channel when they open it, it means that you can receive up to, up to $50 in the channel. But if you have like a whole bunch of like $5 channels open with you, it means that if you're trying to spend $5.20, your node is going to be working overload, checking 30 channels or something.
I was trying to figure out why you would care on this number.
Yeah, it's so that like if you're going to be making $20 payments, you don't want a whole bunch of, or receiving $20 payments, you don't want a whole bunch of $10 channels. Because right now you can't combine channels yet. That's atomic multipath payments. It's AMPS is coming and people are working on it. But right now you're limited to what you have in any single channel for the amount you can receive at any one time. So if, like I said, you have a bunch of $10 channels and your node has to do a lot of work and check a lot of things that are just kind of getting in your way.
Let's say that one of the channels I opened up was 2 million, which is $200, I guess. And the most you can put in right now, I think, is 1.5 Bitcoins, if I'm correct, when you start your channel.
Ooh, that's a high.
So what?
That's a high balance.
No, it's 0.15. $1,500.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, 1,500 is the most I think you put in 0.15. Sorry about that mistake. And so if I open up 8 $200 channels, does that mean I have to add more Bitcoin because I've used up all my Bitcoin?
Yes.
Actually, I couldn't do 8. I could do 7.5.
Exactly, because what you're doing is you're locking up the money into those channels, which means you can spend it all on the Lightning Network, but it would require closing those channels to get it back to Bitcoin, to get it back to like a normal Bitcoin wallet. But you can also do like a loop in or a loop out service, which like loop out is just that since it's quote unquote locked up in, like this is actually a great way to create your own liquidity. Like let's say you open up 2 channels. You're starting from scratch, right?
Right.
You open up 2 channels with $200 that belong to you with Bitrefill and myhash.io. Now that means that you can send out $400. Max payment size is $200 because you have 2 channels and the max you can send in either is $200.
Right.
Well, it also means you can't receive anything because you don't have any liquidity on the other side of those channels. You can't receive anything on Lightning, at least. So what you could do is you go to one of these loop out services, or you go to like I do, ZigZag has it built in. As zigzag.io, I believe. I actually have a channel with them specifically for this purpose. And what you do is you send them a Lightning transaction, and they send you back a normal Bitcoin transaction. So let's say you send it through the myhash.io channels, and you send a full $200 and it goes to ZigZag and then they send you $200 back in Bitcoin, well, now you have a channel from myhash.io that you can get paid $200 if somebody wants to tip you from elsewhere on the Lightning Network. And then you have a channel, $200 with Bitrefill that you can send out. So in doing that, I have just created myself $200 worth of liquidity to receive transactions on the Lightning Network.
Gotcha.
And that's a little workaround to do that yourself rather than having someone else have to upfront money into a channel with you, even though they might not know whether you're good at running your node and, all that good stuff.
So are you cryptoconomy.life?
Yes, that is me. Yeah, you want to open up a channel real quick?
Yeah, so I just figured, heck.
I've been needing to close a couple of my autopilots anyway, because a number of them have been offline for a while.
Manage channel, new channel, peer name.
What is your, do you have an alias?
Yeah, Cryptocousins, one word.
Cryptocousins? Okay. So I'm going to explore.casa and I'm just typing in Cryptocousins. No space.
Right.
Updated a month ago. Capacity 5 million. Total channels 4. That looks like you.
Now.
Okay, so you were behind Onion. You were on a Tor connection.
Yes.
Cool.
So when I go to this address, I copy of yours with the 9735 at the end. I copy it all the way to the beginning, which is a P. And I go to connection details and I paste it in there. It stays red. Why would that be?
It stays red?
The box. Around the connection detail box as an error.
Click off of it. See if it just took a second to update.
How much I need to give you? How many sats we do in here?
How many I got available here? I'd do 100,000.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Everything's purple on mine except the connection details. Everything's ready to go.
What does the connection details start with? Do we have a 0 at the beginning?
A P.
A P?
Mm-hmm. That's what I see here in my address on Lightning Explorer.
Can you scroll to the left at all?
No, I can't scroll
I'm
either
pretty
direction.
sure at least.
Okay, now I got it. Now I got it. That was weird that gives you only a partial address on that page. I wouldn't have known to scroll that to the left. Now it's correct.
As far as I know, I think the most addresses or most public keys for everything I've seen, I feel like they all start with zeros. Yeah, it looks like all the public keys start with 0, like a 02 or a 03. I'm not sure exactly what that means. There may actually be some sort of like a version number in there somewhere.
Oh.
But that should be the beginning of your public key when you copy and paste. So if you don't have that, you might have grabbed only part of it.
Okay, now I see. Okay, so
they're really long, particularly when you're behind Tor, because you've got first you've got your big long public key, which is just a bunch of letters and numbers and A through F, lowercase, and then you've got an @ symbol, and then you've got a whole nother big ridiculous onion address, which is kind of like a different public key for the Tor network, and then you've got .onion:9735. So there's a lot there, and if your screen has a large resolution or something,
well, it's kind of like when I first pull it up in the search results. Here's the deal: when I pull it up in the search results, I see cryptoconomy.life and last update and total channels, capacity and stuff, and that's all I see. Mm-hmm. But if I click on the name, then it brings the full page with the mapping at the bottom and everything like that, which I guess I should have known because it is underlined like a link. But I didn't know I had to go somewhere else to get information because on the page, the search result page, it does show address at the bottom, which you would think was the address, not just part of the address. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the address, that is just the Tor address, but that does not include the public key. You'll notice it starts, mine starts with 6MRH and then .onion down at the end. That just means that to communicate with my node, that's the URL. But just like with a URL, you need a certificate to connect securely to a website. Well, think of the public key is the certificate. So you actually click on it and go see the star map and everything, and you'll see at the top you've got the whole thing in gray, and then there's a button over on the right that says copy connection code. And that's the easy way to do it. That's one of the reasons I like explore.casa. It just lets you just click everywhere and it copies automatically.
It's one of those things, once you see it and do it, it's not difficult. It's just wasn't intuitive for me to begin with.
Yeah.
It wasn't something I naturally said, even though I've been on the net my whole life, it feels like. Well, it wasn't computers. There weren't computers around when I was a kid. Let me ask you another question here. When I do this, the speed at the bottom, that has nothing to do with how long it takes your desktop to finish its task in Casa or anything like that.
No, that is. Oh, I said 100,000 sats. Whoops.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing I have set my minimum at 500,000 sats.
Oh. Well.
So it got angry at me. So I'm doing 1 million sats is what I meant. I meant $100. God, getting used to sats.
It's opening now for the 100,000. Now, that was another question I had. Is it possible to upgrade that? Or would I open another channel at 400? Or would I, if I wanted to do the million, can I upgrade that from 100,000 to 1 million? Or would I open another channel for 900,000? Or would I close that one and open a new one for 1 million? Does that make any sense what I'm saying?
Yes, it makes perfect sense. And honestly, you could do any of all three. In the future, you will be just updating the channel. That's called a splice in. That's what it's referred to. But that tool is not really in the Lightning toolkit yet. That's something that Alex Bosworth is working on. I know him and at least a couple other people are probably working on it. But it's essentially a way of rewriting the transaction, and you're essentially rebroadcasting it, but you're putting it in the same channel as opposed to the alternative of opening up a second channel with a bigger balance, because there's still a limitation if you're opening a second channel, is that you can't send, like, let's say you open one with 500,000 sats, and then you're like, oh, I want 1 million, so you open another one with 500,000 sats. Your max payment is still 500,000 sats before AMPS comes out. So you can still only send $50 at a time through either channel, which means that the better route currently, even though it's a little bit more costly, I mean, again, if you're not in a hurry, it might cost you a nickel or a dime, but you would close the channel and then open a new one with the balance you actually want, 1 million or whatever it is.
Okay, gotcha.
But when AMPS and then splicing come along, you would be able to probably, depending on the interface, you'd probably just be able to like increase size and then, punch in exactly how much I want to add 500,000 sats to this one. And then it would automatically just rewrite that one, rebroadcast it to the network. And then the same channel would have a bigger balance. And that would at least save you on one transaction fee. So a lot of this is still in the works and to come in the future.
Now, I noticed when I open yours, which the 100,000, and I'll probably just can't, if you're doing 1 million to me, I'm going to cancel that in a little bit and do 1 million back. That was like almost instantaneous. I mean, it was like 35 seconds. Maybe now.
It'll automatically give you all the information and everything. Yeah.
I went back and did the MyHash one because I had done that wrong the first time. Or my computer, I got logged out of my node. Now, this one's taking quite a while. Is there any rhyme or reason? I'm unable to open channel. Synchronization blockchain. Have you ever seen that? Yours was quickly.
Oh, where are you seeing that? On Bitcoin or Lightning?
On Open Custom Channel.
It's saying?
I put all the information in, I hit Open Channel, and then that message came up in red. Unable to open channel synchronizing blockchain.
I don't know. It might be like a block or two behind for some reason.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to.
Waiting to catch up before it lets you open another channel.
Okay, now let's go further down then, because I can take so much time on this stuff. This is probably turning out to be a boring show for people. I find it pretty, at least ways I go through the problems.
I love this stuff.
As a novice would go through.
I love this stuff. I could do this for hours. I love this.
Okay, node nickname. Like we said, we just covered ours. Mine is just Cryptocousins, one word. You can check the color. Now, what does that color do? I don't see mine standing out. Or is it standing out on fields? Like when I go to the Explorer thing, is it on the... Mine's not orange. I have mine orange, but it's blue when I look at a page. And why are some green and some blue and some yellow?
That's a good question. I thought... Let me go to mine.
Because mine's been set for orange for like 2 weeks. And when I look at this, like Starfield, I'm going to call it, Mine's still blue, but I see other colors on there.
That's interesting. It's definitely showing up as blue because I don't think this is, I want to say this is Casa specific. Well, it says in the Lightning Explorer. I'm not sure. This might just be, I think it's supposed to. I think when you put it as orange or whatever, it's supposed to update your node on the Explorer and you're supposed to see it as that color.
Oh.
Mine's actually not too. Mine's blue. Oh, I never even set a custom color. That's why.
Well, mine is definitely orange, and I'm looking at, I don't know who Go With The Flow is. They're the other people, I guess, that opened one to me that I need to open one back to. So there you go With The Flow. So you can also go to, if you know who's open nodes with you, you can go to these, you can go to the star chart and find out right there and say, who's this new guy? And you look at the names and you know who everybody else is.
Exactly. Yeah. But also remember too, though, I mean, obviously it's pretty good right now to do that and just like kind of look at who else has opened up channels with you. But you also remember, just in case, it's good to double check that information just because the peer names, like you can put anything you want in there. So I could put Cryptocousins in mine.
Right.
And it would update and people would be like, why are there two Cryptocousins? So.
And also, they call this a star map, too. I wonder if I saw that subconsciously and didn't know that. But anyway, I'm looking at Go With The Flow, who opened one to me, and he has 57 channels, okay? And you can't see the names very good. I'm telling you, there's so much stuff on the map there that you can't do what I could do with mine with 4 names. I could go, there's stacking sats, there's my hashes. Who's this new guy? This would be hard to see a new guy on. Because
you would have to go to, if you, instead of going to star map, go to channels, and that would give you the list version so you could get like kind of a better idea of what's going on. Unfortunately, it lists it as the just the public key, so it's harder to see the in fact, I don't think,
oh my god,
it doesn't look like it shows the actual alias there. But you can search them up individually if you're looking for more details on them.
Have you gone to a big channel yet and looked at that? Like I just went to Tipin.me, 467 channels. If you look at their star map, forget it. There are no words on there. It's just like,
I've got a channel with Tipin.
Yeah. So I'm sorry to keep going through questions, but these are things I have. So I see Tipin, and I clicked on it and said, hey, I'll open a channel to them. Now, how would I know what their minimum is? Do you just keep sending it and they go, it won't fulfill because it's too small of an amount? Or is there a way that you go to it and go, I'm looking at their channel, the smallest they'll take is 1 million or 500,000 or whatever. Is there a way to know that?
That's a good question, because it would be public. Like it would be part of the information in the, the gossip protocol or whatever that would be broadcast. But I am not seeing it listed anywhere. So I don't know. When I look
at it by listing, there's all types of size channels. 4 million, 3 million, 1 million, 800,000, 100,000, 20,000. I mean, I don't know what they're, but there's, I don't see
there's some pretty small channels here, like 25,000 here, 58,000.
Oh, I see you on there. Cryptoconomy.life in the wording.
Yep. I'm up there.
That's on Go With The Flow. You know, Go With The Flow, you have a thing with them.
I do?
Yeah, they have one with me.
Oh, that's funny. They must have opened it with me then.
Yeah, they have one with me, so I went to see who it was, and they have one with you. Well, this is pretty interesting. They have one with Tipin. But yeah, that would be my next wonder is how do you know how much to do that back for? Or how much do you know to start one with if it's someone you don't know? And do you want to go around opening channels with people you kind of know? Or do you communicate with them and say, hey, I'm worried about getting me some channels if I open up one, or do you care? Do you just say, I need channels? I'm opening up channels with people that I kind of know or like or follow or whatever.
I prefer going with people that I know, like, or follow. And the reason is because even if I'm just opening it with a random node, there's not a huge risk because my node really does all the work of making sure I'm not getting scammed or anything. We've got that fallback or insurance contract if anything goes wrong. But at the same time, I am locking up coins that if they are not accessible, like if they go offline and never boot their node back up, well, then now I have to wait 24 hours to get those funds back in my immediately spendable balance.
Right.
So because of that, I like to use. That's also why I just kind of stopped dealing with AutoPilot, because I know what a channel is and I can set up my own custom stuff. So it made more sense to me to go to people that I knew were going to be online, like Lightning Power users, which is Pierre Rochard's big Lightning Node community thing, and OpenNode, because I use them as a service.
Which I do too. Yeah.
Then, like I said, Bitrefill and stuff, because they're all, A, I know they're going to have pretty decent connections. B, I know they're pretty much going to be online all the time. And if they go offline, they're going to be freaking out and being like, don't worry, we'll be back up in an hour.
Right.
They're going to be managing it. They have businesses related to it. So they'll be reliable nodes. And that's why I think a couple of well-placed, like 5 or 6 well-placed connections or channels are superior to like just flooding out to as many places as you can. Like I'm going to open up 30 channels with just 30 random people anywhere on the network. I think you'll have a better experience with just a couple of very well-placed and purposeful channels.
I agree completely. That was my thought, but I want to make sure I was just not talking out of my head there. So the only thing left in the Lightning section is transactions, which is the same as the Bitcoin. It's just basically your wallet. Send Lightning payments and request Lightning payments. And that covers that. We've taken an hour. We're still not doing this, so we probably aren't going to get through with, we probably aren't going to do the apps, the Stacking Sats app today. But I do want to finish this last section, system, which has connections.
Okay. System, yeah.
And this is your Sats access your connection codes and unlock Tor for increased privacy and stuff. And you have a local dashboard IP address, a Sats app, and Tor. What is this?
Okay, so this is just everything that people will need or that you will need in order to connect to your node through with like the Casa. Well, actually with the Casa extension, I think it does it automatically just because it's local. But like your local IP address, that's just your local network. So that like, let's say like how you have your URL, the casa-node.local. Right. Well, that's just a local URL to replace the fact that you're trying to go to 192.168. Whatever your actual IP address is just in your home network. So if you go to just the IP address, you'll go to the exact same place. So that's just a backup for connecting to your node if for some reason the URL isn't working. But then if you're behind Tor, which I believe down at the bottom, I can't decide. I think this might be under settings. Nope, it is under connections. Okay, I just can't see it because I am already over Tor. Because I have already enabled Tor, I don't see the option anymore to connect to Tor.
Well, what would the local dashboard IP address do for me? I mean, who am I going to give that to?
That is just so. Oh, you're not giving it to anybody.
That's what I'm saying. Just I already know it, or I wouldn't have connected probably.
Yeah, it's just so that you know your IP address if you've been depending on the casa-node.local and for some reason it doesn't work.
Okay.
Well, you've got your IP address to do.
I don't have to go pull out a tool to find it. Download a tool.
Exactly.
Or plug it. Exactly. Okay. And then the Sats app and Tor dashboard address. What's the difference?
Yes. That is going to make it so that you can connect. Like if you're out of your home network, if you're not connected to your home router, obviously your local IP address does you no good.
Okay.
So from a distance, when you're using Sats app, which is the great thing about it, I used it at actually BitBlockBoom, you can connect over this address. But luckily, you've got see just underneath it, it says view Sats app QR code.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a whole lot easier than copying, putting into some chat box, and then pasting it into your Sats app. You just scan the QR code with your Sats app. But that is what it's doing. It's giving that address to your app so that you can connect directly to your Casa node. And when you send a transaction through your Sats app, you're actually sending a transaction from this node at your house. And because Tor is encrypted by default, you don't have to worry about like setting up an SSL certificate or anything like that. Like it's just always encrypted and there's no other weird complications or anything.
Okay. So that's easy enough, which I couldn't get that to work on my phone, but we're going to have to mess with phones another time. I went to my Sats app on my phone and scanned the QR code when it said log in and nothing happened. That should have done something, I assume, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What I would try to do, are you logged in to the Sats app? Because
yes.
I think I had a bit of an issue with that and my Sats tag like taking when I first did it. And I just logged out the Sats app back to nothing and then redid it from the beginning, and it worked great the second time I did it.
Well, I'll try that later today then and see if
yeah.
a continued tour is enabled. I'm going to try it one more time. Maybe
They also had a couple of recent updates, so I would make sure it's up to date as well. I don't even think it's under test flight anymore now.
We have share your Bitcoin node, and we have here enable Bitcoin for connections. And under it is share your Lightning node. We have enable Lightning Tor connections. Should those be checked?
If you want to be a node that's accessible on the network to request information from, yes. But if you enable Tor connections, I do not think you can receive connections over the public internet anymore. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty certain that it's either Tor or the public right now.
So if I'm on Tor, it doesn't matter if I check it or not. It's not going to work.
If you're talking about the Bitcoin node, you should be able to receive connections over Tor.
Okay.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if I have it checked or not, is what I'm saying, though. Or does it? I'm misunderstanding you, I think.
If you check it on, yes, that would be able to get other people on Tor to connect to you.
Okay. Gotcha.
And that would give you your address and stuff. Otherwise, they wouldn't have an address to connect to.
Gotcha.
They would have to go through like the normal Lightning address.
Okay.
So yes, you would need it selected on for people over Tor to connect to you and open channels with you. Sorry, I didn't make that clear.
Oh, yeah, I got it now. I appreciate it. Yeah, he's taken a lot of time with me. This is one of my longest shows I've ever done. So obviously, I was interested in the topic. I feel like I have a real comfortable understanding now with the desktop here, what's going on Casa Node, which I didn't before. And so hopefully someone else, maybe they can get an understanding, because I don't know how clear this is going to be for people without looking at the screen. So hopefully they pull up their node and this may help them go through it. Because if you're not looking at your node, I don't know how helpful this show or how interesting this show might have been. Is there anything before we go that you want to tell people, or before we get out of the node here, about this that might, that's something we didn't cover they need to know, or they might find interesting, or anything at all that we want to make sure people know?
One thing is, I would probably say that you can, a lot of apps now, like Bitcoin wallets and stuff, let you, if you have a Bitcoin Core wallet, you can do it in the command if you open up I think it's the developer thing in the settings, but you can connect to custom nodes. So you can specifically, rather than connecting random out to the internet, I can specifically just be like, all right, I know Gary isn't going to try to send me incorrect data or something, so I'll connect to his node. And that is actually in this screen, when you go to a system and then connections, you can actually share that. So if I want to just be like, all right, well, I just want to connect to my brother's node. I want to connect to Gary's node. I want to connect to Lightning Labs node. I can just connect to nodes that I know and trust. And you can do that custom, just like, custom channels. You can just make sure that you're connected to people that you trust. And the other thing I would stress is just that I think custom channels, it feels really uncomfortable at first, but after you get the hang of it and open a channel or two, it's kind of intuitive. It starts to make sense. And just stress that a handful of custom channels is a whole lot better than AutoPilot right now.
Okay.
But outside of that, get the Casa extension. It's great.
Yeah, I have that. Yeah.
After you have this whole thing set up, to get the extension and just be able to go to a website really quick and bring it up, copy and paste an invoice, or just click on it now, I think. It makes it so easy. I don't have to log into my Casa Node and make invoices or transactions or anything. It's just right there in the extension. It's really handy.
So if someone is listening that knows, the only thing I didn't get for sure that maybe someone listening knows is there a way to tell when you're looking at the star maps or the information on other nodes how much their minimum is? So if someone knows that, send me an email. Let me know. Send me a message. Let me know.
Let me check.
Because you would think there'd be some way to know that, because you could go, okay, I'll start out with 100,000. No. Okay, let me try 200. No, it's denied. Let me try 500. No, it's denied. It could take you a while. And then go, I'm just going to call this dude or email this dude and say, how much is your minimum channel? I
was wondering, because there's another Explorer, 1ML, and that's the number 1ml.com. And I was wondering if they have a slightly more detailed capacity, first seen, channel point. I was wondering if maybe there was a minimum balance up there somewhere. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. They do have the color thing, so that might actually be an actual standard for Lightning.
There, huh?
I'd be curious. I want to look up yours. I want to see if your color is right. Let's see here. All right, Crypto Cousins. Yeah, there's quite a bit more data on 1ml, but I like Lightning the Casa Explorer just because it's simple. It's not quite so busy. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have a minimum balance. Okay. I'm not finding it. Might be in here somewhere.
Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed our tour, and maybe as I get more comfortable with this in a few more weeks or a month, we'll bring Guy back and we'll go over the app, hooking up the app, because I've enjoyed the conversation, or that wouldn't have lasted this long. Believe me. Hey, before we go,
I love some stats app.
I do want to know, what podcast do you listen to? What are your favorite podcasts, crypto podcasts?
Probably the one I listen to most is Tales from the Crypt, mostly just because they always have a lot of fun. And I do listen to What Bitcoin Did, but I find myself listening to Tales from the Crypt more often, I feel like. I don't know, there's so many good ones.
I used to listen to, I like What Bitcoin Did, but it's just coming out so often now, it's just too much for me to keep up with. So I really have to be interested in the title, where I listen to every Tales from the Crypt. I find. I think they have a lot more fun. And they do. Now, next week, for everybody listening, our guest is Jameson Lopp. So I'll now know what I'm doing with this node when I talk to him. And if anyone has any questions, email me. Guy, where can people follow you and find you?
I'm pretty much the Cryptoconomy everywhere. Thecryptoconomy.com is the new URL, and I am at the Cryptoconomy on Twitter. And I've always got, if you were looking to read some articles and you just didn't have time, that is the bulk of what I do. I try to get them out every day, but there's so much great content written, and try to make that audio version for it and make it easy for everybody to consume. So, at the Cryptoconomy.
There you go. Everybody, thanks for listening. Sorry the show was about double the length of my normal show, but I had a lot of questions, so hopefully some of them may have helped you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed today's show. A big thank you to all the cousins out there that are showing their support by donating, subscribing, and leaving great reviews on iTunes. All of those things help more than you realize. Now, you can subscribe almost anywhere podcasts are available by going to cryptocousins.com/subscribe. Call me with your comments or questions at 747-777-9471, or you can email me at thecryptocousins@gmail.com, and I'll try to use these on future episodes. Please take a peek at the 4-Minute Crypto Show, which is produced every weekday and located at 4minutecrypto.com. It's the place to get your daily dose of crypto news, and it's always 4 minutes or less. And one last thing, please take a look at my new website, Crypto Crybaby. This website is for the true crypto fan and sells Bitcoin and crypto gear like t-shirts, caps, and so much more. Take a look at cryptocrybaby.com today. Thanks again for listening. Love you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Crypto Cousins podcast. Please share the show with your friends. They can subscribe by going to cryptocousins.com/subscribe. And if you want to know more about Gary, just go to GaryLeland.com. Make sure and join Gary and all the Crypto Cousins every week for a new episode of the Crypto Cousins podcast. The Crypto Cousins podcast and the information included in the podcast are not intended as investment advice. Investing in any cryptocurrency is risky, and you should never invest more than you can afford to lose. Always seek professional advice before investing in any cryptocurrency. Please understand, you are using any and all information from the